Oh, hello. I'm back again with another Star Wars Shatterpoint balance update. But Phil, you said that AMG were going to do a balance update and that could be it for years and there'd be no more changes. Uh-huh, uh-huh. I said that. And then they left a unit out of the update. So just a quick video today to cover off the changes for the Wolfpack. So 104th Wolfpack troopers, as many people had spotted if you've been on the AMG website, when they put up the article announcing the fact that they'd done a balance update, they said, oh, we've made changes to the Wolfpack. And then they weren't in the document. But here they are now, because they've reissued the document. So there are no changes to the words on the card. They're exactly the same. I did, which is why the resolution is really bad. I did go and track down a copy of the card that I knew was an old one to make sure there'd be no changes. Alas, no. But on the stance card, loads of changes. So first on the combat tree, the climb and the dash have changed places, which is a buff because a climb is strictly better than a dash because you can use a dash. You can use a climb move to do a dash along the flat if that's what you want to do, or you can use it to climb, right? So, yeah, you can now access that. What am I talking about? It's a nerf, isn't it? Because they've moved the climb to the end and they've moved the dash forwards. So, yes, technically a very slight nerf there. Made it harder for them to get to that climb. Hang on. Reading, Phil. They've been sneaky here. It used to be a push on the end of the tree. So it's still a nerf. But man, the push symbol and the dash symbol are very similar, aren't they? I thought they'd just swapped. They haven't. They've changed that first climb to a dash, and they've changed the final climb to a push. I think this is a very slight nerf on the tree. Honestly, I've already talked about it far more than it deserves because I don't think you're very often going to see that final box on the tree, right? That's for the birds. And a climb going to a dash is a nerf, but not a massive one as things go. More generally, though, they've been buffed. So, attack dice from 5 to 6, a whole extra dice. It's as if you'd always focused. Amazing, great, wonderful. Big buff to their ability to do violence. And similarly, big buffs to their expertise tree as well. So you're now getting a crit on 1 to 2 instead of a regular hit, and then a crit and a hit on 3 up. Big buff. Kind of sucks to roll 2 expertise and look at the table and go, what do I get for my 2 expertise? And hit. Great. Yeah. And they've also massively improved combat training. So it used to be 1 to 3 get you a single crit. Now 1 is a crit, 2 is a crit and a hit, and 3 up is 2 crits. Much better. So Wolfpack, I think, they've certainly massively buffed them in terms of their ability to do violence. And Wolfpack always were. They were the clones that you wanted to use if you wanted to go punching with clones. And they've always had the downside of not having, they don't have the ability to dash and hunker, right? They instead have the ability to dash and focus. So I think they're better at what they do, for sure. And do they remain a niche pick? Maybe. You know, you don't want to run them with Obi-Wan Kenobi. But maybe when you're not using Obi-Wan, yeah, consider the Wolfpack. They're now just much better at killing stuff. Literally it. Literally the whole video. They also, I will link the official sheet down the bottom because they haven't done a post or anything to announce that they've changed it. They changed some typos on the stance cards and on all the cards. You know, that things like the Gideon Hask didn't have his health and Cad Bane, it didn't have a force cost on one of his cards. It had a weird little symbol for a missing asset, and What else did they do? Something about one of the Ewoks. Technically, it's like all Ewoks do this, and the way it was worded, it would have been like all Ewoks. So if you were playing Ewoks versus Ewoks, it would have been every Ewok instead of allied Ewoks. So they missed the word allied there. But all the other changes that they've done, like I don't see a point in going over them because they're literally all, if you applied common sense and assumed it said the things that it should say, that's the way it now reads in every case. I didn't really mention all these typos when I went through with my initial review because I didn't think it was worthwhile, and lo and behold, they've fixed them all. The other thing they've done is they've changed the scaling on the stance cards. So previously, if you downloaded the print and play file and just went and hit print without doing anything else, your stance cards would print out to the same size as the character cards. Obviously not what you want them to be little tarot card things. Now, people on the Shatterpoint community had already created Word documents where they'd scaled the images and also they've put more images on a page so you can save a bit of paper. And I recommend heading to the Shatterpoint Discord, or in fact, I linked them on the Total Impulse Discord as well, but heading to one of the Discords and finding one of these Word documents where you can print the same stuff without using quite so much paper. But at least now, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to get the official stuff and press the print button, at least now the stuff will come out the right size for you to cut it out and put it into little plastic card sleeves, So I printed all mine out, I cut them all out, I put them all into card sleeves because that's the kind of person I am. Zimbad's just pressed print and was holding sheets of printer paper because that's the kind of person he is, We can be different people, that's fine. Back to the Wolfpack. I'm not actually sure where they fit within the hierarchy of 4-cost Republic supports. I think they may now be the best 4-cost Republic support in a not an Obi-Wan list. But if you're running Obi-Wan, you want somebody that has the ability to dash and hunker, right? Because you really care about the number of hunker tokens you can get out into the world. But yeah, I think they're pretty good, pretty interesting, pretty usable. If you are a Grand Alliance Republic player, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Obviously, at some point, I will do my faction rundown for the Republic. I have done, a while ago, a faction rundown for the Separatists. I have prepared the slides for, and will be recording after this, and releasing tomorrow, a faction rundown for the entire of the Rebel Alliance, right? These videos take a long time. That's why there's been no activity on the channel for a couple of days. At some point, I will get round to doing a faction rundown for the other two big tags, that is to say Republic and Empire, who may even be the biggest tags, but we'll get there eventually. Alright folks, a big thank you to all my members, subscribers and supporters, and a special thanks to Sam Froth, who subscribed at the highest tier, supports all of this, even though it's mostly Shatterpoint, which he doesn't play, but thanks anyway, Sam, with a significant financial contribution every single month. There you are. You bet you weren't expecting a tiny 8-minute video from Tabletop Impulse, but here we are. Hope you enjoy them new Wolfpack. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to using them. Bye bye. Bye bye bye. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye.